Today we're standing in one of London's most famous Beatles locations. It looks like an ordinary Georgian townhouse, but in 1968 a police raid here changed John Lennon's life forever, and years later almost got him deported from the United States. 34 Montagu Square, one of the most infamous flats in rock history. Being just over a mile from Abbey Road, it was perfect for the Beatles. Ringo Starr leased the flat in 1965, shortly before his marriage to Maureen Cox, and before he later moved on to St George's Hill. Ringo later leased it to Sir Paul McCartney, who wrote a composition for Eleanor Rigby here, and then later to Jimi Hendrix, who wrote The Wind Cries Mary in this flat. Cynthia Lennon lived here for about 3 months in 1968, with her and John's son Julian, before John and Yoko moved in while the White Album was being recorded. John and Yoko were in a fairly new relationship after meeting at the Indica Gallery in November 1966. Yoko was pregnant while they were at Montagu Square, and they even took their infamous nude photo here for the album cover of The Two Virgins. The Beatles at the time were at their peak. Hey Jude had recently been a massive success, they were arguably the biggest band in the world, and anything involving them was front page news. The White Album was in the process of being recorded at Abbey Road, and there was a lot of focus on the Beatles' lifestyle. On October 18th, 1968 at 11:30am, the police raided the flat. Sergeant Norman Pilcher led a squad of 8 policemen into the flat after Lennon had tried to initially delay them by not answering the door and then asking for a warrant. Lennon instructed Ono to call their lawyers, but she instead called the Beatles' offices at Apple, and then lawyers were called to attend the scene. Police sniffer dogs called Yogi and Boo Boo were brought in and discovered cannabis resin. John and Yoko were taken to Paddington Green Police Station, where they were charged with possession and obstructing the police in the execution of a search warrant. They were then ordered to appear in court the following day. The next day they appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court and were remanded on bail until November the 28th. On the 28th of November, John and Yoko were back at Westminster Magistrates Court for their hearing. Yoko Ono was cleared of all charges due to lack of evidence. John Lennon pleaded not guilty to the charge against him of obstructing police in the execution of a search warrant, as the prosecution offered no evidence. However, John was fined £150 with 20 guineas costs after admitting possessing the drug cannabis. The court was told that Ono had recently lost their baby, which had been a terrible blow for them, and that John had now given up drugs since following Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. John was warned about his future conduct and told he could face a custodial sentence if found guilty for a similar offence in the future. Apparently, John was worried about Yoko being deported if he fought and lost the drug charges. Although the £150 fine was a small price to pay, the legacy of the drug charge was huge for John. As a big voice in the anti-war campaign in the USA, the drug conviction was used against him in trying to deny him the right to stay. He was even given a deportation order in 1974. This was overthrown in 1975, and he eventually got US citizenship in 1976, but the whole process was made a lot more difficult due to the drug conviction. So while thousands of tourists walk straight past Montagu Square every year without a second glance, this quiet London address played a key role in one of the most important chapters of John Lennon's life. A small drug conviction in 1968 would end up affecting one of the most famous musicians in the world for years to come. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.